Good morning, Tehmina Khan is here in TK Maths is Fun. Today's video is in continuation on the lessons of A-Level Mathematics M1. The topic is friction now. This is video number 2 on this topic, and we will focus on the objects which are lying on the inclined rough surface. So let's start with this question. Two questions I will solve with you here, and one question is given for you to test your understanding, and that question is already solved. So let's start here. A body of mass 10 kg released from rest on a rough rough inclined plane. So body is released from here. And R is the normal reaction and F is the frictional force. Now because the weight of the body, if you resolve it along the plane, is acting downward, right? And this will be 40. So this weight which is acting downward along the plane is 10 g sine 40, and the force which is perpendicular to it is 10 g cos 40. There is no motion perpendicular to the plane. So now because of the weight, we have to see that the force acting downward is this one, and whenever the force is acting downward, frictional force is always acting in the opposite direction, which is up. So that's why F is your frictional force. So you have to find out the value of F, and you have to say either it will move up, either it will remain at rest or it will slide down. This is what we have to see. So first of all, let's see here. Maximum frictional force we know, we have seen before also, is equals to mu r, right? Mu is given to you in the question. It is equals to 1 over 2. And then you have to find out R, which you can substitute here. And then we will compare the maximum frictional force with 10 g sine 40. If maximum frictional force is more than 10 g sine 40, then object will remain at rest. So let's first calculate the value of R. So R is equals to, let me just write here only because there is no other force. So it is equal and opposite. So it is 10 g cos 40. Okay. I am taking the value of 10 as 9.8. In some examination board, especially 9709, it is taken 10. So depending on the examination board you're appearing in, you will take the value of 10. So let me calculate here. It is equals to 37.536. Right? And in 3 significant figure, it will be 37.5. Now we have to see what is the force due to weight. Though it is given, let's convert it into decimal. So that is equals to 10 g sine 40. Just a second, let me check here. So 10 g sine 40 is equals to 62.99 Newton. So now if you compare the frictional force maximum and the downward force is, you can say maximum frictional force is less than 62.99, right? Because this is 37.53. So what will happen? Object will accelerate, right? Now in this case, if you look at the diagram, there is a force X is acting upward at an angle of 30 degrees with the inclined plane, and inclined plane itself is also at 30 degrees with the horizontal. And what is the situation? It is highlighted here. The force F, which is a frictional force, right? F is the frictional force, just prevents the body from slipping down the plane. So whenever, because we know the frictional force is acting opposite to the direction of the motion, because the object is about to slip down, that's why the frictional force is acting upward. Whereas if it was written here about to move up, right? I'm just changing here. If the question was that the force prevent the body from moving up, right? It was at that extent. then my frictional force will be in this direction. And this is very important when you are putting forces in the diagram. All the time it is not given to you. Mostly in exam it is not. You have to write down the direction of the forces yourself. So look at this. The body is about to move up, then frictional force is acting downward. If the body is about to slip down, the frictional force will act upward because it is in the opposite direction. Okay, so let's continue solving this question in which the body is about to slip down the plane. Okay, so now let me resolve this force which is due to weight. First of all, parallel and perpendicular to the plane. Okay, so this one will be 5g, this angle will be 30 degree, 5g sine 30, and this one will be 5g cos 30, right? Similarly, I will resolve the forces which is x and acting upward. So let me change the color red here. Okay, so now this one and this one will be x sine 30, which is acting upward, and this one will be x cos 30, which is parallel to the plane and acting upward, and frictional force is also acting upward. So now let's start solving it. First of all, resolving forces parallel to the plane. So it will be F, okay, let me write here, parallel to the plane. We are resolving. So I can say F maximum, which is acting upward, plus x cos 30 is equals to the downward force is this one, which is 5g sine 30. Right? So parallel to the plane, two forces are acting upward, F and x cos 30. It's 3 written as 30, and the downward is 5g sine 30. Maximum force is mu r. I'm not using decimal values at this point. I'm just writing as it is so that there is no confusion. If you write less number of decimal places, the final answer is compromised. So it will be, like I said, I'm taking 9.8. Depending on the examination board, you will take the value of G, either 10 or 9.8. Oh, I did not write the value of mu. Okay, let me write here. So first of all, let me calculate R. What is R here? If I see, so let's calculate R, which I can substitute in this place. So I am using value of R here. Okay, so if you see, R is acting upward and this x sine 30 is acting upward, perpendicular to the plane, and then downward is 5g cos 30, right? So R plus x sine 30 is equals to 5g cos 30. I need to know this value of R, which I will plug in place of R here in the equation which I have made for the forces parallel to the plane. So R is equals to 5, 9.8 cos 30 minus x sine 30. So R is equals to 42 point sine 30 is equals to, let me just see what is sine 30. Give me a second. Sine 30 is half, right? Yes. So x divided by 2. Now this value I am going to plug in here. So mu is 1 over 7 given to us in the question here. And the value of R I will write 42 point. Achha, by the way, I have taken here more decimal places because this is not the final answer. Final answer we write in 3 significant figure, but I'm going to use this value. So that's why I'm writing more decimal places here. And cos 30 is, let me use calculator, root 3 over 2x is equals to, and if you calculate this, it is equals to 49 over 2. Now you have to use calculator to simplify it. Let me first of all move this aside so that I can write values here. Give me a second. right? Okay, so let's divide this. You get 6.06214 minus x over 7 to the 14 plus root 3 over 2x is equals to 49 divided by 2 is, I'm just changing them into decimal to make my calculation simple now. Okay, so after this it is, I'm calculating the x values, which is equals to, just a minute, minus 1 divided by 14 plus root 3 divided by 2. You get here 0.79459. Okay, is equals to, the rest I'm taking to the other side. 24.5 minus 6.0. So x is here also, sorry, because this is on the left hand side. 6.06214. So now you got the value of x as 23.2 Newton. Okay, so now this is how you have solved the question. So now I'm giving you the next question to test your understanding. Let's see this question. The diagram is here. You can put the video on pause and then you can try to solve it and check your answers with my solution. Okay, so here is the question. So I'm showing you the solution now. Same thing, we will resolve parallel to the plane first. If you want to resolve this due to weight, it will be like this. This is parallel to the plane, which is 3g, because this angle is 60 degree, 3g sine 60, and this will act downward, it will be 3g cos 60. Okay, so now after that I will resolve perpendicular to the plane, which is r equals to 3g cos 60, right? And then what will you do? Or you have done basically, because you have already solved the question and now you are checking it. It is written here very clearly, prevent motion down the plane, right? And that's why the frictional force is acting upward. So it is very, very important to note down all these important aspects of the force. So now you know maximum frictional force, and you will just substitute in equation 1 to get the value of P. I hope you have done exactly the same way and you got the answer 20.4, final 3 significant answer. So thank you very much for watching the video. Please press like and subscribe button and share it with your friends. Take care. Allah Hafiz.